that everyone is making accusations against her, saying he's not guilty. I'm just saying that when he says something, it's not believed, and when anyone else, including the investigator, says she was intimidated, and I also agree with Rahul. How can Tarun Tejpal, who's in jail, intimidate the investigating? It's not very. This was victim. Investigating officer seems to be the person who is pushing her weight or whatever. I just find it strange that an accused before the court has decided. This is what I find very strange. That once it's in the media, in victim and the accused is guilty. And this is what worries.
Abha Singh, do you want to respond to that? We're running out of time, but I want to hear from you. Are we all guilty together of taking what one side is saying to be the gospel and what the other side is saying without hearing them at all, and they haven't spoken to anyone so far, assuming what they're saying to be completely untrue?
See, if you're talking of the police, there are so many IOs, investigating officers, who have been killed when they have been on their job. So intimidation is not something new. We all know that. Secondly, suo motu, Goa Police registered the case after verifying all the facts. In fact, at that time, people said when that offence has taken place, why they are not arresting Tejpal? They verified only when they recorded the statement of the girl. They were convinced. They gave him enough time. So nobody can say that because of his celebrity status, Tejpal has gone behind bars. It is rule of law in this land. This is a democracy. He had his lawyers. He went to Delhi High Court when his anticipatory bail was not acceded. At that time, he went to Goa. So let us wait for another 5 days. The charge sheet is going to be in front of us, and let me tell you, in this country, law of the land prevails. It is not anybody's personal whims and fancies which prevail.
But what we've also seen in this letter, Neha,
I'd like to add about powerful people being in jail. You know, why in high profile cases are very frequently the powerful person denied bail, and the reason is not because necessarily there's a media spotlight on it, but powerful people are in a position to influence the course of the investigation. So I think this is something that really needs to be kept in mind.
That's one point. Right. The other point that I want to ask from Neha, and this is from the letter that Tarun Tejpal has written. He says that the cops are on a fishing expedition against him. He also says in this letter that the charges that are being leveled are not true, that he's cooperated fully in the investigation. Tarun Tejpal clearly is sending a message that he doesn't feel that the Goa Police is doing a fair job, and currently he's in custody. These charges are being leveled, and that raises questions on whether he can be granted a fair trial given where he is right now and given the attitude and the approach that he alleges the Goa Police has.
I think it would be fair to say that he's not wrong in presuming that. The way the atmosphere has been vitiated, especially now when these charges have come up, that the IO himself feels intimidated, and the picture of the girl has come out and nobody knows where that surfaced from, and Tejpal says that it's certainly not him, and the girl, I don't know the girl's version, but I'm sure she's assuming it's from his camp. I'm sure the atmosphere has very much vitiated, and it remains to be seen whether he will actually get a fair trial at all in the state of Goa or not.
Taruna, final comments?
Until there is definitive evidence that he's not getting a fair trial, I don't think it's fair to say that. If they feel that a fair trial is not possible, a transfer petition can be brought to the Supreme Court with evidence and with, surrounding circumstances. The charge sheet will be out. Let's see what it says. Let's make sure that this is a fair trial, and let's remember that in the judicial system, very frequently, the victim of a rape or any sexual assault does not get justice. When we are looking at fairness, this is something that we centrally need to keep in mind, as well as look at fair trials, because we do not want people who have committed rapes to go free. At the same time, innocent people must be acquitted. Let's see what Mr. Tejpal has committed and what is not committed. The evidence is before the court.
I think that's a fair point. I think the victim, of course, needs justice, but let us not forget the rights of the accused. The constitution of this country and the CRPC guarantee rights to the accused, and let's not forego them just because he happens to be a big guy who's fallen really hard.
Okay, so there are charges, there are counter charges. Nobody knows where the truth lies. What is required is for all sets of questions to be asked with equal vigor. And what is also important is not to assume that someone is guilty just because there's a charge, but for the whole process of law to play itself out in a completely unbiased court of law, and then for the judge looking at the evidence to decide who's right, who's wrong. We don't wish to jump to any conclusion. I'm out of time.
There is a prima facie determination at this point.
I have an interview with Mr. Reddy to run.
Fair enough, but that prima facie determination, let's keep in mind that a prima facie determination has been made, and in a rush to fairness, you know, let's not swing one way and then let's not swing the other way.
Let's just stay in the center. That's where we like to be. We don't wish to take sides one way or the other. You've heard different points of view. Nobody knows what is right. Nobody knows what is wrong. There are charges, there are counter charges. We don't wish to take sides. You've heard two differently and equally passionately argued points of view. In your head, you decide who's right, but more importantly, an unbiased court of law needs to decide whether or not Tarun Tejpal is guilty as charged. That's the end of part 1 of Center Stage Tonight.